Hello, everyone. Welcome to Aligning with Purpose, a podcast where we explore themes of finding your true purpose, from quitting corporate, moving cities, practicing holistic health, and more. Join me as we discover our purposes together. My name is Julie Yoshinaga, and I'm so happy you're here. Today, I'll be talking about breakups and self-worth. What does self-worth really look like? And we'll also explore how to get over a breakup the healthy way, and you can really apply this to anything in your life. Let's get started. As I mentioned in the last two episodes, I'll be starting the podcast off with the Beauty and Humanity segment. And this segment is meant to share a little part of my life that I saw that made me happy or made my heart feel warm. And this is really a segment to stop and be present with ourselves because we have a lot going on in our lives and it's really easy to get consumed in our daily lives, our worries, our to-do lists and all of that we don't take the moment to take a step back and see all the beauty that's happening around us. I'm going to be using this segment to really challenge myself and also hold myself accountable to see the beauty in life and the everyday moments. So I hope we can also do that together and find the good in our everyday lives. So this week I was walking the streets of New York per usual, and I saw a woman in her late 30s, 40s, I believe, holding hands with her, I believe it was her mom. And I thought this moment was extremely beautiful. They weren't holding hands to support one another, but it was more so enjoying each other's company, walking, and it really reminded me of my relationship with my parents and that we're always going to be our parents' children, no matter how old we get, no matter how much time passes by. This moment also showed me that time is fleeting. Even though that can be a sad concept, it's also a beautiful one because we don't get to experience this moment ever again, so why not take the most of the ones that we get to live right now? I also understand that everyone's relationship with their parents is very different. Whoever it is in your life that you cherish, I hope you can hold them close and to be present with them because we won't get those moments again, and time is moving and nothing lasts forever. So today's topic is one that I'm really excited to talk about. It's all about breakups and self-worth. And this topic is something that I believe everyone goes through in their lives, and it's very transformative. It makes you grow a lot. It really develops you as a person. And if you take the right steps to get over it in a healthy way, you're setting yourself up for success because you really grow in your self-worth, who you are, and you reap the benefits out of something difficult. So if you're going through anything hard, I send a lot of love to you, but just know you're going to get through it and you're going to become stronger. And you're also going to just become a more magnetic, more lively, bright person the more you grow and the more you grow in your self-worth. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get into today's topic. Breakups are one of the hardest things people go through, and even if you know that the person isn't right for you and your gut says that it's not the right relationship, we have a tendency to hold on to things, especially when we're not fully developed in our own identity and our self-worth. I think it goes beyond losing the person when it comes to breaking up. It affects your identity, your brain chemistry, your daily life, and that pain is extremely multifaceted, especially when it comes to your brain. It idealizes the future, and you might have a vision for what it was, and now that vision is no longer in the picture. Or there's that concept of sunk cost fallacy where you put in so much time into the relationship that you feel that leaving would be wasting your time, which isn't true, by the way, and we'll get more into that. And it also affects your daily life. So the pain is multifaceted, even if you know that this person wasn't right for you. It affects all aspects of your life, your mental, your physical, all of that. So I see why breakups are one of the hardest things we go through as people. But there's definitely a healthy way you can go through a breakup so you could come out stronger in the end. I myself have done this, and I've gone through a breakup and healed the healthy way, and I'm very proud of the steps that I took because it really propelled who I am individually as a person. No matter what, breakups are going to be painful and hard, so choose your hard. It's going to be hard if you choose to get over it the unhealthy way where you're staying stuck, reminiscing, thinking about that person, stalking, whatever it may be. Or you can cut them off, you can make sure you go no contact, you can put that work into yourself so you can come out much stronger in the end. Because time doesn't truly heal everything. It's the conscious effort that you put in paired with that time that really makes the difference. Think about those concepts when you are going through a breakup, because you can either come out of it stronger, quicker, because you're putting in that effort for your self-worth, or you can just sulk and be sad and cry about it. But actually crying is really important, so please don't take that as a bad thing. The point is, choose your hard and do it the right way. Do you want to grow into yourself and find a better partner for you eventually? Or do you want to dwell on it and give it attention longer than it needs? So if you're going through a breakup, let's work through this pain together. And if you're not going through a breakup, I think a lot of these concepts can be applied to your self-worth in different situations like friendship breakups, hard things that you're going through in life. So it's still relevant to anyone. To understand the pain better, we need to understand our brains. In romantic relationships, our brains release a feel-good chemical like dopamine and oxytocin. These chemicals create a sense of attachment and pleasure. Naturally, after the end, our brain panics and it goes into withdrawal mode. Our brains lose the regular supply of the neurotransmitters from the relationship and it goes into a neurological withdrawal. So doing things like contacting your ex, stalking, daydreaming about your future, it only prolongs the breakup because you're feeding your brain those same neurons and that connection that it was deprived of. What you're doing in that situation is doing yourself a disservice because, one, it's done, and two, you need to move on and do it the healthy way so you can start to bring in better energy for yourself, more self-worth, and blossom into the person you're meant to be so you can hold more love for yourself and the people that come into your life. So what's the solution to these neurological withdrawals? It's to create new patterns. If you're thinking about them, recognize that you're thinking about them and think of a different memory that makes you happy. If you're thinking about the what ifs, think of the reasons why it was good it ended. If you catch yourself thinking about them, recognize it and think about a different memory that makes you happy. It sounds silly, but this one really works. After a breakup, you're probably thinking about them more than usual because it ended and you feel like you lost something really big, right? Replace those thoughts for memories with your friends, memories with your dog, your pet, your family, whatever else that you were extremely happy in, because you're rewriting those neurological pathways so you don't have to be reliant on feeling happy and that dopamine effect or that oxytocin effect from that past relationship. If you're thinking about the what ifs and dwelling on the future that you won't have together anymore, think about the reasons why it was good it ended. A lot of the times, relationships are not meant to last. We're usually with one person for the rest of our lives, so that means all those people that came before are lessons. And those lessons that we learn from past relationships are extremely important, but you have to be able to see the bigger picture of the things that you were able to gain from being in that relationship. And if you dwell on the what ifs, then you don't get to see the future life that you get to have with someone even better for you. So if you catch yourself dwelling on it, think about ways to shift and reframe it. Reframe it and think about why it was good it ended, why this person was not a great partner to you. And I'm not saying it has to be toxic all the time, but maybe you guys weren't compatible in X, Y, and Z reason. Maybe this person wasn't fulfilling this need that was really extremely important to you, and you were compromising yourself for that. In reality, you never wasted time. Time is a concept in our lifetime, and we have many, many more years to live. So if you spent a long time in that relationship, just know that there's more waiting for you, and those lessons that you gained out of the long time you're with them was necessary for your growth too. You needed that growth. So be proud of yourself that you're finally out of that relationship and you can now finally find someone that truly respects and adores you, and vice versa, because relationships are a two-way street. And if you need to cry, make sure you cry out all your tears. Don't suppress your tears, cry it out because it is extremely healing. It helps you process your emotions better. It releases all the sadness and all the pent up emotions that you're feeling in the moment. And cry as much as you need. Do that process with yourself over and over. Don't suppress it because then you're only prolonging the breakup even longer too. So cry it out, feel it, and find happy moments when you're not crying. I promise you that if you do all these things, you're going to come out stronger and so much better for the long run. You're setting yourself up for success, not for future relationships, but the relationship you have with yourself, which is arguably the most important one because that's the relationship you're going to be with for the rest of your life. So invest in yourself. Don't invest in someone that didn't invest in you or that ended it with you, because you have yourself to look after. And that person, she or he, whoever you are, that's the most important person that you need to be focusing on. Also know that if you're going through a breakup, closure will never come from them. I know a lot of us get caught up in wanting to talk to our exes one last time or reaching out one more time because we need to know why it ended and get closure, but that's a myth. You can get over it on your own, and closure is something that you need to give yourself. Not get from them, but for you to get the answer on your own. Sometimes you don't get that answer, but the answer is for you to just move on, not let that energy disrupt your peace anymore. Don't chase or ask, just start to heal yourself. Once you start to heal yourself and put in that effort for yourself, you won't even need to know the reason why it ended and what their thought process was, because that is irrelevant. Why they wanted to end it with you doesn't matter. You're a special person, and what you bring to the table is extremely, extremely special. The right person is not going to overlook that, and that's all you need to know. So if you're going through this where you didn't get closure, just move on. Spare yourself from the extra conversation and the extra heartache from talking to them. It doesn't matter what the reason is. You're going to move on. What's done is done. And as more time passes on, while you're doing the conscious work, you're going to start to see the bigger picture. You're going to start to see why it ended and why it was good it ended. Along all of that, you're going to start to develop your self-worth and really see how much you've grown from that person you were a day before that breakup to where you are now. Put in that work on yourself because you owe that to yourself. You owe that to yourself to become the best version of yourself so you can continue to thrive. So what does self-worth really look like? It looks like self-control. It looks like honoring your boundaries. It looks like learning to put yourself first and not abandoning yourself ever. Abandoning yourself looks like reaching out to them when you know it's wrong or refusing to surrender and let go of them. All of those things are abandoning yourself because you're choosing to stay stuck in comfort rather than grow. Again, remember that concept of choosing your pain. Make sure you're aware of where you're putting in that work into, because it's going to be painful either way, so might as well put it into the outcome that you're going to benefit from. And to be completely honest with you, my breakups were some of the best things that happened in my life because I grew tenfold and I am who I am today because of those experiences. Yes, when I was going through it, it was extremely hard and I was only able to see the pain and what was happening in that moment because I wasn't able to see the bigger picture. But now looking back, all those things really allowed me to really grow and find my voice, be more confident with who I am because I am choosing myself through and through. Those lessons I wouldn't give up for anything in the world. Before those breakups and those relationships that I learned from, I was blinded on my worth. I put up with a lot more than I deserved, and I was also settling into relationships that I knew I wasn't happy in, and no one deserves to be questioning their worth or be putting in more effort than they deserve and settling into relationships that aren't meant for them. You deserve everything in the world, but you have to be able to see that for yourself before you get those relationships. From all my lessons, I learned that I had self-worth, but it wasn't nearly as good as where it is now. A lot of the times, we do have a baseline level of self-worth where we won't tolerate certain things, but we end up tolerating a lot. For example, this isn't just in a relationship, but this could be setting a boundary with your family or your friends. Sometimes we're really loose with it because we're scared to speak up for ourselves. And the more self-worth I grew in, I learned to be able to use my voice to speak up for myself in a respectful way. So I was communicating the boundaries that I had because I loved myself. If you truly work through your breakup in a conscious way, you're going to get to a higher level. And this isn't to compare you to that other person, it's to compare you to yourself and that past version of you. Seeing yourself from where you were prior to this relationship to now, and putting in that conscious work from all the lessons that you gained from that relationship, you're gonna get to that higher level so you make room for the right person to come in one day. For example, if growth looks like different levels of a game, you're continuing to elevate yourself at each level of the game. So you're calling in more people who are aligned with you at your level. So it's important to be putting that effort in for yourself because you're calling in the right person the more you grow. And you also need to be that version of yourself for you to be the one that they deserve. If you can't take care of yourself, you won't be able to take care of your relationship in the best way that you can. If you don't learn through your triggers and your insecurities, you're not going to be able to be the best version of yourself in those relationships. Think about all those things when you're thinking about how to get through a breakup. Are you putting yourself first truly, or are you doing the opposite of that? Let's say you're in a toxic and unhealthy relationship. Sometimes you won't fully see that until you're out of it. And sometimes you'll hold on to the good and hide the bad from yourself. And just know that by doing that, you're abandoning yourself. It's also important to recognize that sometimes we're the toxic ones, or that we bring the toxic parts of each other. Take that as a learning opportunity and know that no one is perfect. I'm not talking about if there is some sort of violence happening and something terrible happening, but as human beings generally, we do sometimes carry toxic things that we're working through in this lifetime. So hold yourself accountable, but also be kind to yourself. Take it as a learning opportunity and work through your own toxic. And if you're in a one-sided relationship, just know that you can never be perfect enough for the wrong person, and that is never a lack on your part. Sometimes others just won't see the beauty that you hold, and that's okay. It's not your job to teach them that. It's not your job to show them or tell them what you deserve and who you are. It's your job to leave those situations so you can find better love for yourself and to honor your self-worth. All you need to know is that they don't want you or can love you the way you need to be loved, and that's okay. Just know that you deserve way more than that and move on. It's not your job to heal them or change them because healing is an individual journey. You can support each other in your own individual healing with the right person, but just know that if they don't want to help themselves to heal, then that's that. It's not your responsibility to take that on for them. They have to want it themselves, and you're not their mom, so you're not going to teach them that. I think when we're in long-term relationships, it's easy to mistake their own growing for your own growth too. We see our partners struggling in X, Y, and Z, and we want to be there and support and do a lot of that legwork for them. But you have to know that they're the only ones who can save themselves and really grow. You can help and provide tools for them, but that's all you can really do. And if that contributes to the one-sided relationship, just recognize where it starts to become unhealthy for you then. Are you still happy? Are they still able to support you? Or is this not the direction that you see it going in? Last thing I want to say about one-sided relationships, never fall for someone's potential because you're going to just end up being disappointed yourself. If you like someone for the potential of who they can be, then you're not loving them for who they are now, and that is a problem. Are you also contributing to this one-sided relationship because you're able to see through their lack and see the version that you want them to be? Because that is also another form of abandoning yourself. Think about those things and think about that as you consider what self-worth truly looks like for you. Sometimes our relationships were neither toxic, unhealthy, or one-sided, but sometimes we just get stuck and we settle for the wrong person. That concept that we talked about earlier about sunk cost fallacy pops up, where we spend a few years with them, 4 or 5 years, and we all of a sudden know that we've invested so much time with this person that it would be a waste to end things and start over. But in reality, don't equate the success of the relationship because of the time that you spent with them, but the meaningful present moments that you have with each other. If you feel stuck and you're settling with the wrong person, not only are you doing yourself a disservice again, but you're also holding on to them, and that is not fair to that person. Spending so much time in a relationship and that being the reason why you don't want to leave is never the right reason. Allowing yourself to close that door and do the hard thing opens yourself and them up for the right person to come in so you can be in a more fulfilled relationship, and you both deserve that. Sometimes comfort is also something that keeps us stuck in situations where you know you deserve better. So don't lie to yourself because your gut knows best. Ultimately, whatever the reason was for your breakup, just know that you are the answer to your own path and for your own growth. Practice developing boundaries because this is self-care and this is growing your self-worth. Cut off those relationships that lack reciprocity, care, love, and respect, and put that energy back into yourself. Your ex might conclude that they should have never taken you for granted, but that's not your problem anymore, and continue to move on. It's easy to romanticize your relationship to be better than it was, but just remember the reasons why it had to end. Never betray yourself just to make a relationship work, and don't lower your standards too. Have that faith and trust in yourself that better is coming for you, and the more that you put into yourself, the more that the universe will reward you. I mean, after all, the most important relationship that we're going to be developing is with ourselves. So put that effort in yourself, and the more you do that and get to know yourself, the more fulfilling life you'll get to live, and you'll get through that breakup and that really, really hard chapter of your life. I wouldn't be sitting here and sharing this the way that I am if I hadn't gone through my breakups and grown the way that I did. But I'm so grateful that I have the tools and resources that came out of those breakups, and I apply it to my everyday life now, not just my breakup. How I set boundaries with friends, family, roommates, strangers, right? I have a good level of self-love and respect and self-worth now, and those are things I would never trade for the world. Focus on building a relationship with yourself because that's the most important relationship that you're going to have. I will always be so grateful for my breakups because it allowed me to really come into myself and to discover myself for who I am. And that's going to be a lifelong journey. I'm going to continue to get to know who I am and evolve as a person and have a great relationship with myself. So I hope you can get to a point where you feel safe, heard, comfortable, and your love for yourself shouldn't be based off of the love that you get from other people. And just because you're going through a breakup doesn't define who you are, and it does not mean that you're not lovable, because you definitely are. There's so much more out there for you, and even if in the next chapter it's not a romantic relationship, make sure you find that with yourself, because whatever that you want and that you deserve, you're going to get. So be patient with yourself, and I'm rooting for you. Thank you so much for spending time with me on Aligning with Purpose. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast so you never miss an episode. And be sure to connect with me on Instagram and TikTok at aligningwithpurpose.pod and at Julioshi, JULIYOSHI. If you enjoyed today's podcast episode, please leave me a rating and review. Your support truly means the world, and catch you at the next episode.